All right, start. Good morning, everyone. How you doing?
Hi, sir.
How's everyone doing? Everyone good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, good. So today we have successfully finished laws of indices. So we're gonna be revising now the next two topics that we need to go on, which is remember as you can recall, we talked about scientific notation or significant figures earlier, right? So we're gonna go back.
Excuse me, sir, but I don't understand what you mean by binary operator.
Didn't say binary operations. Oh, last class you mean from last week?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, all right. Let me just quickly recap what we talked about binary operations. All right. Let me just screen share for you. In a moment. Okay. Let's go back on binary operations. One moment. Okay. Good. So, what exactly? Can you remind me what exactly binary operation? What comes to mind? We said that, right? When you have binary operation, you have an unknown operation that's happening between two terms. So we put an asterisk there. Let me go back on binary operations. One moment. Binary operations.
It's like you just binary operator, sir. But
Can you repeat? No, it's not complicated because here's what happens. The only thing you need to concern yourself with when you hear binary operation is that simply it's a rule that whenever you don't know the operation between two numbers, you essentially use another operation to find what the value would have been. Right? So let me just quickly go there. One moment. Okay, good. Example of a binary operation. Look for me. So let's say we had A asterisk B. We don't know what the operation here could be. It could have been A times B, right? It could have been AXB, it could have been A divided by B. We don't know. So we put an asterisk for right now. But we're told that the values of A is 5 and the value of B is 4. So given that we have these two values, we can put them into another equation, and that's essentially what binary is. You use the values that you have to find what the end result of this would have been. Because let me show you one moment. So look at this for me.
Excuse me, sir. Can you send me the link?
No problem.
After I must get the note after that, sir.
Here we go. Alright. So let's just quickly revise binary operations just so you understand. Right. So look at this for me. When you see A times B and you see one moment, let me just fix this. There we go. Excellent. There we go. Alright. So what happens here is that A asterisk B, we don't know what it's equal to. So we couldn't say, oh, put 5 asterisk 4. That wouldn't give us a value, correct? Because we don't know what exactly is happening there. But if we can put the values in another equation and say that it is equal to A asterisk B, we can therefore find the value of what A asterisk B could have been. So we could say same value, and this is equal to same value, right? So the question would now give you, right, terms such as let A is equal to 5, let B equal to 4, and you would put these terms now into the second equation that you were given, and that will tell you the same value as what would have been given here, right? Let's recap, right? What is the formula here? We have 2A plus B, correct? What is A? Anyone? 5. Okay, good. So we would say 2 times 5 plus what is B? 4. So 2 times 5 plus 4 is the same thing as if we said A asterisk B, and we just put A as 5 asterisk 4. So this is essentially equal to the right hand side. So whatever value this is, that would have given me the value of this unknown operation or unknown equation for A asterisk B. So when we simplify this now, the final statement would be rewriting what the unknown operation was with the values substituted, and then equating it to the third term found, which would be 10 plus 4, which is 14. Everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. So Khalil, do you understand now?
I understand now, sir.
Yeah. So do you understand what binary operation really is now?
Yes, sir. It's just a way of combining two numbers. So, like, for example, we have 5 after 7. We don't know what we're doing there. We could be multiplying it by, could be multiplication, it could be subtraction, it could be addition, it could be division, sir. We don't know
We
what
don't
we're
know.
doing now.
Exactly. All right, good. So now we
So, how
can
do we find out the answers of the sum, sir, if we don't know what is going on?
exactly. So we have to use another one that we do know, which is, for example, 2a times b plus b rather, and that you can just say would be the unknown, right? But today, Khalil and everyone, we're gonna be looking or recapping what is scientific notation. Right after me? Scientific notation. That
I
is
have a
on.
question, sir, like word, after like word 2 asterisk A, B, 7. After that, would that be an example, sir?
Two asterisk AB. Right, as long as you
One
have an asterisk between two terms, yes, that's a binary operation. Right, so if you have the volume 1, please go to page 70 for me. Volume 1, page 70. Right, so scientific notation can be called standard form. This can be called standard form. Anyone remember what standard form was?
So which page on volume one?
Page 70.
Okay.
All right.
So like showing a number by color.
Okay, all right, I see you. All right. So that's essentially correct, where you just essentially represent or express a value as something to a power. Correct. So we're going to take some notes quickly because remember, I just gave you some examples in the previous month, but now we're going in depth into each topic, and now we're going into scientific notation. So write this for me. Let's put this down. All right. First thing we need to understand is that scientific notation is a rational number. Right. And we're gonna determine what is a rational number. Okay. Anyone knows? Let me show you. Rational number.
After we have that number, which is written in the form of AXN, one where one where one greater with that time A with A less than 10 and N equals B said to be written in standard form or scientific notation.
Right, we
Like
haven't
N
Khalil,
equals
we
B
haven't started the
times
question yet. Khalil, we haven't started the question. We're writing the definition of standard form. Right. So we're saying that standard form is the same thing as scientific notation, but it can be called a rational number. But what exactly is a rational number, right? Rational number is essentially a set of positive, negative, or numbers that are zero, which you can express as fractions. So these are rational numbers. All right? So if I have, for example, 0.003, that's a rational number, which I can express as a scientific number or a standard form. Right? Right, someone? This is used mainly in science and engineering in order to represent very large numbers and also very small numbers. All right, excellent. So let me ask a question. Which one would be a very large number? Would it be a positive number or a negative number? Right? And this very small number would be negative or a decimal. Right? Okay, good. Let's do an example. We're going to say express, right? 8,000, no, 84, wait, one moment, express. So it's revising exactly what we talked about. 841902 in standard form. All right, excellent. Okay, take me to the steps. What exactly did we say you need to do here? Right? If we have 841902, how would you express this in standard form? Anyone remembers? All right, let's go back through it. The first step, count how many spaces, right, or zeros. No, let's count how many spaces there are between the first digit, right? So count essentially after the 8, how many spaces do we have? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody agrees? So we have 5 spaces. Everybody agrees? The next step, right? Express those spaces as a value of 10. So in other words, what it's saying is that you put a digit 1 and you tell me how many zeros could be changed for the spaces. So if we had 5 spaces between the first digit, right, we would say there's 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody agrees? All right. Next.
Sir, can you scroll up, sir?
Let me scroll. There you go. All right. Now this is step 1 and step 2. Let me label it. View as a numbered list. There we go. Okay. Now after you express it as a value of 10, the next step is use law of indices to put that value as a power of 10. Right. First person to tell me, raise your hand. Right. I'm looking to see who raised their hands on the Zoom. Express this digit as a indices of 10. First person to raise their hand. Don't raise your hand yet. Let me check. You get a point on the leaderboard if you get it correct. All right. Start 1, 2. Pale. I see you, Pale. Good.
Yes, sir, but I don't see. I don't see I don't see any notes on the scientific location when I went on the list, sir.
You might have a filter on, but we'll discuss that after. Message me so I can so message me so I can help you after class. But for now, let's look at my screen. All right, let's look at my screen. So, Pale, you said that you have the answer. Let's hear what you say. Let's count the spaces again. All right, so I'm gonna give you two. No, I have to give you one try. All right, so let's see if Pale is correct. So she says that we're gonna have 10 to the 4th. How many zeros did we have? So if we said it was 10 to the 4th, or is it 10 to the 5th? Oh, my bad, my bad. It's 10 to the 5th, correct. Right? Because this 5 represents how many zeros we had. So we could say that this 100,000 can be represented as 10 to the 5th. The next step, and I want Jazil to answer this for me now, right? We're going to say now, place that index, right? And show the new value multiplying what, one second, multiplying what is left when it is removed. So in other words, whatever 10 to the 5 is, you're going to pull it out. Pull out those spaces out of 8, whatever. Right? So you'd only have 8 left. Jazeel, I want you to tell me now, what would you have left? Or express how you would write it. If you only have 8 and 10 to the 5, what would you do?
8 times 10 to the 5th.
8 times 10 to the 5th. That's correct on the first approach. That's correct, because here's why. You told me how many spaces I have left, and then now you told me how many spaces I need to move if I want to get back that large number. Right? So let's write what you said. You said 8 times, remember I'm using x as multiplication now, because we're doing, there we go. So you say x times 10 to the 5th. But there's something missing, because if I just said, oh, 8 times 10 to the 5th, so 8.0 times 10 to the 5th, here's the new value, Jazeel. All that we would see, my bad, all that we would see, Jazeel, is just 800,000. So the value here would actually be,
Can you pull up, sir?
one moment, the value would be this. But Jazeel, is this what the question said we had? 800,000? Or did it say that we had 841,000 and some change? Right? So in other words, Jazeel, what I'm asking you, how would you get, wait, can you repeat?
You're breaking up.
Oh, I'm breaking up? Alright, let me stop screen sharing. One moment. One moment. Alright, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Alright, good. So, Jazeel, what I was asking now, is 800,000 the same value as $841,902? No.
Yes, sir. No, sir.
No, because we are missing.
You would have the 4.
Right. So you would need to add something to this 8.0 so that when we express or multiply throughout, we get back the same value that's here. So I want you to tell me now, what do you think we should add here that will give us back this exact 841,000, not 800,000? What we should do, we should express this end of the value as a decimal. So we're going to put the values here. So tell me the values again. 4, 1, 0, 2. Excellent. This now would have given me the original value, 841,902. Let me just put that there. There we go. All right, excellent. Everybody understand? So this is how you successfully express a standard form, right, or a scientific notation. There we go. Write that down for me. So there's 4 steps. You count how many spaces there are between the first digit and the rest of the values, my bad. And the rest of the values. But we're going to do one where it's not going to be a large number. What if we have an example of a really small number? We're going to do that example. So when you're finished with this, give you one more moment to write. And meanwhile, let me just take the register. Excellent. All right. The next one we're going to do now, we're going to do a really small number, which is, we're going to say we have express 0.00047935 in standard form. So we're going to say step 1, you guys numbered this. All right, now this is the part of the section where you get points. If you answer the questions, you get points in the leaderboard. So, firstly, Jazeel and Pale already have 2 points. Let me just write that. So, Jazeel. So, I'll remember to add them. And Pale. Alright, so those persons are already ahead. Now, for the others to catch up now, here's your chance. If we have 0.0004795, what's the first step? Raise your hand. Let's see. Raise your hand.
After what did they do to the notes? I wasn't even finished.
One moment. After 0, I saw your hand first. Okay, good. Let's go to the... Good. So, what's the first step we need to do in this expression? Count the spaces. Alright? And you have to tell me how many spaces there are. So you'd say 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. No, you're right. It's 4. It's 4. Because there's 4 spaces to the... There's 4... Let me explain. So picture... Let me draw it and show you. Because remember, the instruction was, tell me how many spaces there are to the first digit. Let's look at it. So let's say we have 0 0.0... My bad. Sorry for my bad handwriting. 0.0004. Look at this one. Right? So if it was 3, it would not be correct. And here's why. If I move 3 spaces, let's say I move 3 spaces now. 1, 2, and 3. So now my value is 0.4. Does this take me to the first digit? Do I have a whole number as the first digit yet? Right, so I need to move now. In your mind, always do this. Move one more space so that you have the value as a whole number. So you have 4 point something, right? That's the rule. Count the spaces to where it can be a ones place. Remember the place value system? Ones place, right? So in this case, it is 4. So I'll still give you the point because you said 4 firstly after 0. So I'll still give you the point. Alright, what's the original value, Khalil? Look at the value right here for me. Say it for me. You have what? 0 point?
0.00047935.
Alright, so how many spaces do you think we should go? 3?
First thought there would be 5. First thought there would be 3.
Alright, let's see. So pause on that. Let's see if it will be 3. If it would be 3, Khalil, here's what you would have. You would have decimal space moving 1, 2, 3. So it would really have point. So let me delete all of these zeros. All we would have, Khalil, is this value. 0.47935. But wait, do I have any value as a whole number? Because that's the rule, Khalil. Look at it for me. Let's go back to the first one. In the first one, right, we found the value that brought it to 8 point something. So we put it in decimal place 1 space before the whole number, right? So in this value, do we have the decimal place 1 space in front of a number? Look at it. Do we have a whole number point something, or do we have 0 point something?
0.20.
Right, and we can't express this as a standard form because this would be no value. If I tell you that I have 0 of something, right, I have nothing. So you need to move this decimal place now, Khalil. 1 more space, so now you have something. So you could say now I have 4.7935, and then now the index will come into play. So you understand now why we move 1 more space, Khalil?
Yes, I understand now. Right. Because we did it say I have 0 after.
Right, that would be nothing.
Valid,
exactly. So you need to say you have at least 1 apple, right? And that would not be a quantity. Good. So let's look at it now. So we're going to say we're going to 4 places. So now we have 4.7935. Okay, good. right? The next step, as you can remember, let me see the hands starting now. First hand. All right, I don't see any hands yet. Jazeel, all right, good, Jazeel. You're getting the points today. Jazeel raised his hand first. Just make sure that you click it next time, Khalil. You tell me step 3. All right, so step 2, Jazeel. What's the next step?
You express it, sir.
Express. Let's see. So express what?
To the power.
Right. So wait, no. The first step is to tell me how many zeros did you move. So you said it was 4. So how many?
Express it to the value of a 10.
Right. So what value would it be as a value of a 10? What value would it be?
Okay, sir.
So
Oh, step 3, sir. I raised my hand before just you, sir.
no, just erase it first. But you tell me step 3, Khalil. Don't worry. Right. So just you said express as a value of 10. So how many zeros did we have? 4. What would that value be now?
4.
That would be 1 and 4 zeros. What is that?
4 0, yeah.
Yeah. So
That would be 10,000. Okay.
yeah, 10,000, correct. So Jazeel got that. So Khalil, your turn now. Jazeel.
Okay, sir.
Uh-huh.
After we have used our agency to put this back, after we have used our agency, sir, to put that value as a power of 10, sir.
Right. To put, good job, Jazeel. Good job, Khalil. Put the
Thank you,
value
sir.
as a
So we
power,
need how we use it, sir.
right?
Value just to you.
Yeah, Khalil, my bad. So you said now use law of indices to put the value as a power of 10. Now put 10,000 as a power of 10 for me, Khalil.
Okay, sir?
Right. So your job now,
Then we will
Khalil,
be 10 to 4.
10
After we will be 10 to 4.
10 to 4th. Excellent. Well, I'm going to show you a surprise that is going to shock you. Right? So you're correct as to how many. Let me show you now. So I'm going to do step 4 to show you why we couldn't just put 10 to the 4th. Right? Here's the rule. Write this rule for me. There is a
It's like,
uh-huh.
there's
Continue.
yeah, it's going to be like a negative, like it's because they're going from the opposite side.
Excellent. Excellent. That's an additional mark, Jazeel. Good job. All right, I'm putting name again.
Hallelujah.
That's a very that's a very important rule. That's a life or death. Because if I forgot a negative or everyone, and I was designing something very important, there will be lives at stake. So if Jazzy remembered it, I think he deserves a point, right? Because it's very important that you realize if you have a small number such as 0 point something, the decimal point is moving to the right, so that would make it a negative. If it was a large number and it was getting smaller, you would just put it as a positive. Let me write that step again. So here's the most important step to standard form. Let's write it before we continue. So we're going to say the most important step to standard form if we have, wait, no. I'm not going to say it. I want someone to know that is not clear. Repeat?
Sir, what about step 4?
Right. We're going to do step 4 in a moment, but we're writing a rule first before we go to step 4. Right? I want someone now to remind me, Jazeel excluded because he already gave me the first one. What is the rule for when we have a large value? Would it be a positive or a negative, and explain why? First hand, let me see it. I see no one wants to point. All right. I guess that's a free point. Okay, let me repeat it. What happens when we have a large value, right, and we're expressing at a standard form? Does it make it a negative or positive index, and why? So in other words, when we had a small value, we went to negative. But why do we remain positive when we have a large value? All right, let's look at it. The rule is when we move from left to right, we always put the index as negative. right? Because we're essentially getting from smaller to larger. Because if I had 0.004 and I made it 4 point something, I'm getting from a smaller value, which is a decimal, to a whole number. So I have to account for that by putting a negative sign. Right? So we're going to say case in point 0.004 to 4. Right? And the other rule is that if we're getting smaller now, so the other rule, the other rule is that when we move from right to left, we make the index positive. And that's self-explanatory. Good. So let's continue to step 4. Step 4 now, since we know that it's going to be a negative 4, we're going to put a negative there. There we go. Let's picture a negative right there. Alright? And let's work it out now. So we're going to say, I want someone now to help me with step 4. First hand, let me see it. Khalil, I saw you. Right, I saw your hand. I saw your hand. So step 4 now. Tell me what step 4 is now.
Sir, I have a question.
Correct, yeah, but there is my hand first.
I don't think Khalil knows how to raise his hand on Zoom.
I know how to do that. I just did not raise hand.
Right. Okay. Let's continue. Khalil, so tell me now what step 4?
Raise that thing that can show the new value multiplied by this left when you remove it.
Alright, show the new value. Alright. Now tell me the new value now. Tell me what would you have now? You would have the original 4.7 935, but what would you multiply that by?
10,013. Since there's 4 spaces, sir.
Right, but would that, so tell me now, how that would be as an index? Remember you told me as an index, so put that as an index.
Sir, 4 times 10 to the 4th, sir.
10 to the 4th, is sure?
Sir, since there's 4 spaces, sir.
Right, but look at the rule, Khalil. The rule is that we're moving from left to right. And what do we say when you move from left to right? What do you do? Make it. No. If you're going from left to right, so if we had 0 point something, and we're no, we make the power negative. No, look at this, Khalil. We make the power negative. So it's still 4, but we're just indicating that we're getting from a smaller to a larger. So we would say times 10 to the negative 4. Understand?
Alright, that may got the problem wrong, but at least I have a point, right, sir?
You didn't get it right. Alright, good. I'm just kidding.
Sir,
I'm just kidding. Alright, good. So that's it now. That's it for standard form. You get your homework in a bit, but I'm just glad that we got that out of the way. So now we can continue now.
can you scroll down to the rules, sir?
There you go. So we're gonna continue now to significant figures. Right? So head up that for me.
Can you scroll down to the rules, sir?
The rules. Oh, one moment. Oh, there you go. So the rule is that when we move from left to right, we always put the index as negative. And the other rule is that when we move from right to left, we make the index positive. Then we're going to move into now, head up for me, significant figures. That is on page 69. And this one is very short. It's a very short topic, so I won't spend much time on it. I think we can cover it in the next 10 minutes or so. All right? All right, let's continue now.
I started meeting, so I said it's working.
All right, not a problem. I think we should be able to cover it before the meeting. But then you just rejoin for me. Significant figures. Significant figures. Excellent. Here's the definition. Right? If I told you that a bank is shutting down, right? That's what I mean? A bank is shutting down. Shutting down. You have your life saving in that bank. You have your life savings in that account. The account manager says we can save 1 digit out of your bank account, right? And also keep its place. The account manager says we can save one digit out of your account with its place returning. So in other words, if you chose, for example, 3,400 and you chose the 4, you would get $400. If you chose the 3, you would get what? Anyone? Exactly. So now we're saying that you have to choose the most significant figure, right? That will really keep to your value that you had. It might not be the exact value that you had originally. Yeah?
I just like this is the same thing as approximation, sir.
That's an excellent term because the actual topic is approximating using significant figures. I'm glad that Khalil brought it up. So the actual topic is
Another point for me.
approximating using significant figures because it's not the exact value that you had in your bank account. You're just telling me the most important digit that will get you the closest to what you had, right? So look at it. So let's use an example. Express, right? 105.8054, right? To 6 significant figures, right? So the bank now is telling you that, hey, we can save 6 figures. You're going to essentially choose which 6 figures you'd like to save, all right? No, let's look at it. So we have 1058054. The rule is that whenever you have a 0 in between, it will be a significant figure. So add for me or tell me the first 6 important figures in this number.
So will it be 15854, sir?
No. It asks you for 6 because there's 7 digits here. Tell me the most important 6 digits in this value. It would actually be 105, right? 0.805. This would get me the closest to what I had originally.
Let's talk about what, sir?
It didn't ask if it said Khalil. If it asked you for 7 significant figures, you put the 4, but it says 6. So when I put 105.805, that gives me the closest value to what I had originally. Let's do one more example. How about if it said to 3 significant figures? Right? I want someone to. What did you say? Let's look at it. So 1, 0. But I'm not going to put the 5 in because remember, you're approximating. So you're going to look at that 5 and tell me to the right of it, does it have a value above 5 or below?
Sir, it is better than 110.
No, listen for me. Listen for me.
It isn't, sir.
Listen for me.
Sir, that means you would like reround
Exactly. Because let's write this quickly. Is 105.8 closer to 106? Timer shut down. Okay, let's continue. All right, let's quickly get back there. Okay, let's look. Okay, good. All right, here we go. So answer this question for me, and I want you to pay close attention to it. Is 105.8 closer to 106 or 105? Which value would give me more for my money? That's correct, because 106 would get me more of a value. So it'd be the most significant one. So we'd say, using rounding decimal, I would say if 8 is above 5, round it to 106. If it's below, keep it at 105. All right? Because 105.8 is higher above the 5 range, so it makes it a higher value, which is 106. So the value.
As a question, sir.
Yeah?
That's like what is the answer? Because for the volume monster, except 3 is negative. Okay. Okay, answer.
The page that we're on, Khalil, is page 69. So we're going to page 69, and I'm just showing you a review of what we talked about significant figures. Let's do one more example before we go. One more example. let's say it told you now that you had a larger money. You didn't just have $105. You have, well, less money, right? Let's say you haven't used your bank in a long time. You have 0.00, right? 5807016. This is your bank account. It's gonna tell you now to 6 significant figures. Who wants to take a crack at it? So if we have a zero outside of actual numbers, would that make it significant?
No.
Right.
Not.
Exactly. That's the first rule. Let's write that. So
As, as well, the first significant figure cannot be zero, but it can be as well, but a zero can be a significant zero.
when it's in between, right?
First figure third.
Right. So when zeros are in between two whole numbers, now that makes it significant. But look at this now for me. What would be the first six significant figures? Anyone?
807.
Let's look at it. So, Jazzy, what were you saying?
5807.
Yeah.
01.
01. Survey says 58. Yes, exactly. But look at this for me again. We can go a little bit more. We can get higher value for our money. So, is the value beside 1 higher or higher than 5 or below 5?
Higher.
So we could
Higher
say
than 5, sir, because the answer is 7, sir.
no, it will be 580702. Right? Because this is a more significant value because it gets me more money in my pocket, gets me more quantity. Let's do one more example. Let's say it said to 3 significant figures. After 0. Is after 0 there? Alright, she's not here. Ludi, I haven't heard from you. Let me see if you can attempt this one. Express 0.0058070016 to 3 significant figures. Right? So you would count the first whole number, which is 5, and tell me now the next two numbers beside it.
What did you say, sir?
Right, so the first significant figure would be 5, because if I had 0.005 in my bank account, the zeros aren't important really. They don't tell me quantity. But if I look at the most significant value, it is 5 currently, right? Because it's the first value, it's a whole number. Now tell me, what's the next two values beside 5?
8
8,
and 0.
0. Right. Follow along with me. Is 580, right? Is 580 the most I could get, or could I round up a little? So let's look at the value beside 0. What's that value beside 0? Right?
7.
7. Is 7 above the range of 5 or below? So could I add 1 to 0, and what would I get?
It's
5.
it's above 5, so
Yeah, you'd add 1.
1.
And what would you get now? 5, 8.
581.
Right. But we're not finished yet. So this is the final step. Good. So we're not finished yet though. The final step is basically we're gonna write back the decimals. So look at this for me. So we're gonna put back 0.00. Here we go. And we're gonna put back again 0.00. Right? So that's how you express significant figures. I'll provide a little page that shows you the rules, not to worry. But this is essentially the main point of it. And it's a good class. Just check on your portal in a few moments to see the activity that you have to do. Any questions?
I have a question, so it's like we're not doing any tasks on the textbook today, right, sir?
We are doing a task in the textbook, but I'm just gonna give you now the task on the portal in a few moments.
So sometimes check the portal later today, right, sir?
Right, and you'll see the task for today. All right. So this is a good class. Any questions before we go? Any other questions? So in summary, we covered standard form or a scientific notation, and then we went into significant figures. All right. Have a good day, everyone. If there is no other questions, if there is questions, let me know in my email or WhatsApp. I wish for you a good day, and I'll see you next class.
Bye, sir.
All right, take care.